Hello guys, in this video I'm going to show you how you can install and configure PostgreSQL on your Ubuntu operating system. PostgreSQL or Postgres is a relational database management system that provides an implementation of SQL querying language. So let's see how we can install Postgres. So first of all, open your terminal, and the first command which we are going to give here is the sudo apt-get update command. So just give this sudo apt-get update command, and it's going to update all your repositories on your Ubuntu operating system. And after this, once this is done, we are going to install Postgres, right? So Postgres installation is really easy. The configuration part is a little bit tough. So once again, to install Postgres, I'm going to first of all clear the terminal, and then I will give this command sudo apt-get install and then PostgreSQL. And we are also going to add one more package here, which is Postgresql-contrib, which is the package that adds some additional utilities and functionalities. Okay, so this command is going to install PostgreSQL, and then we are going to give the next command, which is Postgresql-contrib, so contrib, okay, and then press enter, which is going to install PostgreSQL. Now it's going to ask you that it's going to take this much amount of disk space on your system. If you agree, just press Y and press enter, and then PostgreSQL will start installing. And once this process is done, we will see how we can configure PostgreSQL on our system. So now the installation process is complete. So I'm going to clear the terminal once again. Now let's check where the configuration files of Postgres are located. So the configuration file of Postgres are located at this location. So just ls etc and then Postgres, and then the version you have installed. Hopefully it will be the version starting with 9, and in my case the version is 9.3. At the time of making this video, this version is a little bit older because I'm using the older version of Ubuntu. But in your case, I think at the time of making this video, this version is around 9.5 or 9.6. Okay, so you may see the different version in your case here, right? And then main, and then just press enter, and you will see a bunch of files here. The main configuration file is this file, which is postgresql.conf file, right? So now let's check whether PostgreSQL is running or not, and how we can check the status of PostgreSQL. Okay, so just give this command service PostgreSQL for the command to use with PostgreSQL, and you can see these are the command which you can use with PostgreSQL. So start, stop, restart, load, force reload, and status you can use with the service PostgreSQL command. So let's use this service PostgreSQL, and let's say we want to know the status, right? And I'm going to just press enter, and it says PostgreSQL is online, and the port for the PostgreSQL is 5432 by default. Okay, so if you want to know the status, or if you want to restart or stop or start the Postgre, then use this command, which is service PostgreSQL status command. Okay, now to use Postgre, the default user for Postgre is Postgres. Okay, so to for the first time, whenever you want to use Postgre, then you need to use this user, which is Postgres. So to use this, you just need to write sudo su and then Postgres. Okay, and then press enter, and now you can see here you are logged in with the Postgres username, right? So in here you can see I'm highlighting this Postgre user from here, and that means you are logged in with the username Postgres, which is created by Postgres Installation for you, which is a root user for Postgres, right? Now, in order to use some commands for Postgres, there is a command line tool which is psql. So just give this command psql and then press enter, and then you will see this kind of shell, and here you can use all the command which you want to use with PostgreSQL. So let's see what are the databases present in the Postgre by default, and for that you just need this \l and then press enter, and you can see these are the default databases which are present by default in Postgre. Now, to list out the user, you can use \du and then press enter, and this is going to list out all the users which are present on the Postgres. So by default, you can see the user of Postgres is the only user which is by default created by Postgres, and you can see this user. And this user have the super user privileges, who can create roles, create DBs, and replication also. Okay. Now let's see how we can change the password of the default user, which is Postgres. So to change the password of the default user Postgres, you just use this command, alter, and then the user, so user, and then the username, and default username is Postgres, right? So you just need to write Postgres here, and then with password, and whatever password you want to give here. So for example, I want to give the password test123, and don't forget the semicolon here because it's very important here. Okay, and press enter, and once you see alter role output, then you know that the password for the root user is changed. Now let's create a new user. So it's not a good practice to use or create database with the default user. You need to create a new user, and then from that user privileges you can create your new databases, right? So let's create a new user. So to create a new user, you just give the command create and then user, and then the username. For example, user 1, I want to create a new user with the username 1, and then with password, and then whatever password you want to provide here. For simplicity, I'm going to just provide test123. In your case, you may want to provide the password which you can remember and which is secure for your database. Okay, so the username is user1 and password is this one, and then press enter. And once you see this output, create role, then the new user is created. So you can list out the users once again by using \du, and now you can see the user 1 is also added to your list. But you can see there is no privileges to this user because we haven't provided any privileges to this user. So let's provide some privileges to this user. So let's make this user a super user. So just write alter and then user, and then the username, which is user1 in our case, with super user. Okay, so just write super user here, and then the semicolon, and then press enter, and now it says alter role. Now once again, when we give \du command, you can see the attribute for this user is added, which is super user. Right, now let's create one more user, and then we will see how we can remove the user. Okay, so I'm going to create user 2 with the same password, and then let's list out the users. Now we have 3 users, right? So let's say we want to remove the user 2 now. So we will just say drop and then user and then the username, which is user 2. and then the semicolon, and then press enter, and it says drop role, and once again list out the users, and now we have only 2 users, right? So this command can be used to remove the users. Now there are many commands you can use with this interactive shell, which is psql, right? Now in order to know all the possible flags and command you can use with psql, I'm going to open the new terminal here, and I'm going to just write man psql, okay, and then press enter, and you can see here the short description of this psql command, how to use this, and the long description, and then the options you can use with this psql command. So you can see you can use so many options with this psql commands, and at the bottom you have you can see so much description here, right? So you can just go through it whenever you want to, and then whenever you want to use some command, you can just refer to this man page for psql, and when you press q key, it's going to quit. Okay, now the last thing I want to show here is the pgadmin client. So on Ubuntu, if you are on Ubuntu, you will be having the access to Ubuntu Software Center. So you can see this icon for the Ubuntu Software Center. Just open Ubuntu Software Center. So once it's open, just write pgadmin here, okay, and then press enter, which is going to search for this software which says pgadmin3 at the time of making this video, and then you just select this and then click install, which is going to install this pgadmin on your Ubuntu operating system. And once this pgadmin is installed, you can see here we are going to see how we can use it. So just give your password for your Ubuntu operating system and then press enter, which is going to start installing. And once this progress bar reaches 100%, then we will see how we can use this pgadmin. So now the pgadmin3 is installed on my Ubuntu operating system. I'm going to minimize this, and then I'm going to scroll down in my left hand scroll bar, and you can see the pg3 icon here. Just double click on it, which is going to open this pgadmin, and now here you can see this kind of graphical user interface to interact with your database, right? So in order to connect to the database, you can just click this button, this wire plug kind of button is going to give you this kind of interface. If you remember that the root user was the Postgres user, right? So by default, the Postgres listens on localhost. So here you can just give 127.0.0.1, which is the localhost. You can give for example localhost name here, and then the port we have already seen is 5432. The username is Postgres, for example. For now, you can use the other username also which you have created. For example, we have created user_1, so you can give that user and the password of that user also, right? And then the password of Postgres. So if you remember, we have changed the password of Postgres, right? And we have given this password to Postgres. So just copy this same password, and then once again go to pgadmin and then give the same password here, okay? And if you want, you can select the color. I'm not going to select it, and then click OK. And this is going to give you the save warning. Just click OK, and now your pgadmin client will connect to the PG or PostgreSQL database. And now you can see we have the local host here, and once again when you expand this local host, we have the Postgres user, right? And right now it doesn't have any databases, so you can create the databases from this PSQL terminal client also, or you can create the databases and tables and schemas from this pgadmin interactive graphical user interface also. Okay, and that we will see in some other video, but for this video I would just wanted to show you how you can install PostgreSQL and configure it on your Ubuntu operating system. So I hope you've enjoyed this video. Please rate, comment, subscribe, and bye for now.